if you call me, you're like, hey, I want to duplicate your swap on my 350Z. I'll send you everything. If you get everything, 2 to 3 weeks, you can get that swap done.
Wow.
Easy.
Bienvenidos al podcast de Drip and Drift. Hoy el invitado es mi hermano dominicano, Bryan, de DriftHQ. Thanks for coming out, bro.
Hola, hola.
Figured I'd do the intro in Spanish, you know.
That was pretty good.
Thanks, bro. Practice a little bit. But yeah, dude, thanks for coming, man. How's everything been recently?
Everything's been good, you know. Quite busy.
Yeah.
A lot of work, a lot of traveling, but
yeah,
it's great.
I've noticed that. We've been trying to schedule this forever.
I know. I think we've been over a year trying to do this podcast.
Yeah, just going back and forth. I know you were living here, moving, traveling, all that stuff, but I'm glad we could do this, man.
Excited to be here for sure.
Thanks, dude. On one of those trips, you recently came back from Japan.
Yep.
So tell me all about it, dude. From beginning to end, how was it?
Well, Japan was the best trip I ever had so far.
Yeah.
It's number one. Love the place, love the culture. Like, the culture difference is so shocking once you go from here to there. Like, the way everybody is, how respectful everybody is, you know, they behave, like, it's insane.
Yeah, a lot different.
But then you get into drifting, and it's completely different to what we do here.
Yeah.
So on the drifting, we got, like, the cars there are all stock. Or, like, let's say 90% of the cars are stock.
From top to bottom, like suspension, everything. Stock.
They usually get coilovers and, like, some angle kit. Mm-hmm. That's as far as they go. All the cars are like stock, ECU, stock engine, stock turbo, stock everything. Some crazy intercooler pipes they found somewhere and put a bigger intercooler most of the time. That's about it. Like,
wow.
But the drifting there is crazy. That's why they can drive all day. The cars are pretty much stock. So
true. That's what makes them more reliable. Yeah.
I think, or it's the Japan Air. I don't know.
The Japan Air, yeah.
The motherland, you know. The motherland makes it reliable.
So that's a trip that thousands of drifters, that's like a Mecca journey for drifters to go to Japan. So was it, I mean, it's super pricey, I'm guessing. Did you rent a car over there?
Well, no. It can get super pricey, definitely, depending how many steps you take.
Yeah.
But thankfully I was invited from Duarte from DriftHQ, Savio, you know, Luis went with us, Andrew Mauer. So the boys were all there. They all already had cars and everything.
Cool.
I didn't have to rent a car. I just went and took like a couple laps on one of them cars. Not like crazy, you know, I went and hit the school course.
Yeah.
Like for 2 days in a row, we did like, you know, 10-minute session, just drive the school course, get used to it. And then on the last day, I did Nishi, which is a track with the big downhill and where they do the 15-car trains. I took some laps there. So for me, it wasn't that pricey because the boys were there. They let me drive the car. They were like, just, you know, take 3-4 laps, enjoy it. But right now, you can actually drift without being so expensive because you got the sideways experience.
Yeah.
Which is one of our guys, Fausto there, a Brazilian guy. He runs like most of the mechanic part, and he'll get you set up with like rental and all that. They have a drift school. You can rent anywhere from 350Zs, JCXs, and like IS, I think. And if you do that, it's not that expensive. But if you go, you know, buy a car, try to fix the car that you bought that you don't know what could be wrong with it, you know.
Right.
It can definitely go up in like 10, 20s, you know.
I'm sure there was some other rentals, but I feel like they've made it the rental game big over there.
Yeah.
I didn't see too many. I always heard of people having to buy their car over there, store it.
Yeah.
And then when they travel out there, use it. But they're the first ones I've seen that have made a big, what do I want to say? A big go at the whole rental.
Yeah, for sure. Every day we were there, I want to say each of those cars was rented. Like they have, I think, like maybe 10 cars for rent. I want to say there was 10 cars with their logo
Yeah.
drifting out there. Like they all got rented. So
That's
they
awesome.
definitely made a big difference over there and make it like more accessible for people to drift out there.
And did you find like any shops with like parts and stuff that you can't find, like Up Garage? And
I went to Up Garage.
I know they opened one in the States recently. I think in California.
I think somewhere out there.
Yeah.
Not sure where, but somewhere. But yeah, I went to Up Garage. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Like they have a bunch of stuff that sometimes you think you don't need, but you might end up needing. Like sometimes they have a single coil over there that you need. Like I went there and I even brought some parts back. I found a nice set of tail lights for FRS.
Nice.
I was like, those are really nice. I see the price. I'm like, well, they're $100. They're going with me back, you know. So it was good.
Cool. Yeah, I feel like that's what a lot of people would like to do as well. If they go over there to drift, like bring back some goods. Some,
yeah, for sure.
You know, some real JDM
some souvenirs.
stuff.
You know, souvenirs.
Yeah, souvenirs. Yeah, for your car, for the homie's car. That's pretty cool. Man, that's an experience. So you said it was the best. So far, the best trip.
So far, the trip I like the most, for sure.
I bet, man.
It was just so different.
Yeah.
So like, cause I have been traveling around, but nothing like, you know, I've been on like a lot of, let's say, like Latino community trips, you know. So it's kind of what I'm used to already. Where I grew up, even though it's different countries, they're kind of similar, but there is like everything is different.
Right.
I'm out there, I don't speak any Japanese. I'm like trying to figure out with the translator and like people still trying to work it out with me. I think it was a great experience.
Yeah.
I will for sure do it again and again and again.
Man. Awesome, dude. Well, how did drifting all start for you? How'd you get into it? How did it begin?
So, well, how it begins. So I always like cars, motorsports. I had a bike, like a little scooter, since I was like 6 years old. My dad got me one for my birthday, and you know I always been like a gearhead since day one. Always, I like cars. That's been me. That's my life. And where I grew up in the Dominican Republic, they started drifting in like 2006. I know I don't remember the exact year, but I know Fast and Furious 3 came out. Tokyo Drift.
Right.
That got me hooked. I like racing, but once I saw drifting, I'm like, no, this is the coolest thing ever. And then watch Initial D, game over, you know?
It was, yeah.
So then the guys were drifting on the R. My dad had a R32 GTR. He knew a couple of the guys out there, so we would go to the track every once in a while. Once I saw drifting for the first time at the track, mind blown. Like that was it. I was sold from that moment and on. Whatever I was supposed to be in life, it changed.
That's amazing.
Whatever plans I had on the future, my mom thought, gone. And that's it. Ever since, every time there was a drift event, I would tell my dad, hey, Dad, let's go. I'm telling you, like I was maybe 10, 8 years old.
Yeah.
Dad, let's go to the track. Let's see drifting. And he will take me. I mean, I asked so much for it that he will take me every time. Every time there was drifting, he's like, yo, let's go to the track. Let's go to the track. Awesome. And over there, they used to make 4 or 6 events per year, like a whole championship. So I'll be there every round, you know, like going crazy on the stands, loving it. And then I think from there, I got the sim. I got a G27 when I was like 12, 13, the Logitech one.
Yep. Started
playing. As soon as I got home from school, I will play it until like 10 p.m. I'm telling you, from like 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. until they tell me, hey, you need to go to bed. You don't have to go to school tomorrow. I was on that sim every day, non-stop, until I pretty much learned alone how to drift. I was just driving the car, throwing it in corners, throwing it, just catching it until I got it. And then in the sim, I was linking the full track. From then on, I was like, you know, I moved here, and Once I moved here, it was a bit of a stop, let's say. I had to, now get a car here, get all the stuff. I moved when I was 16, so
Okay.
I didn't work that much, didn't move that much money. But as soon as I turned 18, I had a couple dollars. Before graduating for high school, I bought my G35, and from there, that was it. I went.
It was downhill from there, man.
Yeah,
Because when I met you, you had the 350. That was
yeah.
like the cop.
The
It looked like a cop car,
the
kind
Drift
of.
Patrol.
Drift Patrol. That's what
Yeah,
it
yeah.
was.
It had because it had a black fender, and the car was white. So the boys, that was Nick from Spark.
Yeah.
He was like, it looked like a Drift Patrol car, and he just made the sign and
That's
put it over.
how it happened.
Yeah.
True.
He literally made it. He was like, hey, I got something for you.
Yeah.
Made it for both doors.
That's awesome. So you went from the G35 into that Z?
Yeah, I went from the G35. I got the G35. That was my real first car, I want to say. Drove that thing. Tires didn't last me 2 days. I was fresh out of high school. So I was buying tires every 2 days, used tires,
Yeah.
$100 a pair. And, I was doing donuts, taking little corners here and there, but it was completely stock car, had nothing. Then, I got some money. I was like, okay, I can do something. I think it was my school check, my FAFSA check or something like that. I was like, okay, damn, they gave me $1,500 back. I'm like, this can go into the car. I remember I searched on the Orlando Drift group. I was like, hey, I'm 4 miles. I want to set up this car for drifting. Can anyone help me? One of the guys from DriftHQ messaged me like, hey, we're local to you, because I was living 4 miles at the time. We're local to you. Come here. We'll get you set up with coilovers, and we can go from there. There's many things you can do. And that's how I met DriftHQ. They treat me right since the first day. I was like, okay, this is where I'm staying. All my money's coming here from now on. I bought coilovers, bought a little GK Tech angle kit, and that's how it started. I started getting better. Blew that car up.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to fix it. It was the rev-up engine, so the engines were very expensive, like $2,000. I was like, I don't want to fix it, so I got a 350C with the regular BQ35DE. Swap everything from the G35 to that. And that's when you and me met.
Yeah.
We met at the track.
Yeah,
OSW was my second event.
2020 or something around there.
2020, 2019. 2020 was right pre-COVID, right?
Yeah.
It was when COVID started.
Yeah.
So it was a spring break bash. That's when we met. I remember. That was the second event I did. I did the weekend before. I did Showtime just to see if the car works. It had hydro, coilovers, and that angle kit. That was all it had. I did Showtime, car worked. So then I did Spring Break Bash, and that's when I did my first tandems. I did OSW for the first time. It's a great weekend.
Wow.
Great car, yeah.
Oh man. And now that's not the same 350.
No, I have a different 350
So
now.
you sold that one, got a 350
No,
shell.
that one I crashed.
Oh, okay.
It had both tires from that event. So I only did two events on that car. Showtime to shake it down and OSW. So after the event, I took the car to the paint shop, got a super nice, like beautiful, full car, but it still had the both tires. But I was moving from here to like, let's say 5 miles on the road. I was like, I'm gonna take it there and do the tires now. Leaving the paint shop, it started like raining a bit, and I lost control of the car. There was like a little dip on the street, and it had like water sitting on it. The streets were dry, but the dip had water. So once I went on the dip, I lost it and I couldn't save it. So crashed there. And from there, that's when I was like, okay, I need to do something. Either I do another stock 350Z or I do a JC and
build something.
build something. I'm like, these are cool. They're great. Good seat time cars. But I'm like, I grew up with a GTR every day, so I miss the seats in line, big turbo sound, because he had a big turbo and all that. So I wanted to replicate that setup back. But I was like, I don't have RB26 money. but I can maybe get some 1JC money, and we made it happen.
Yeah, man. Because I don't think I've seen it in person, but all your videos, like that thing sounds
Oh, yeah.
roars, man.
Yeah, I like to live on the limiter.
Gnarly. So is it running healthy now? Like
It's great. That car, since, at the beginning I had a little issues, but it was more issues of like me trying to cheap out on stuff, trying to reuse some stuff and do some stuff on my own to save some money. End of the day, it wasn't worth it. Better do the things right at once. It was mostly fuel issues that I had at the beginning because I didn't buy the nice radiant top hat. I had the stuck thing, the stuck lines going, the modified to sit. But other than that, once I took care of all that, the cars haven't skipped a bit. Never let me down.
Want to put it into another 350? Because I always see V8 swapped into 350s. I know you said you want that turbo. So yeah, what made you choose the 350 with a 1J platform?
I'm not a BA guy.
Yeah.
I don't hate BAs. There are some badass BAs. They for sure work. If you give me a BA, I will drive it.
Yeah.
But the sound of a JZ, you can't beat it. Sounds so. I beat my car so much because I love the sound. That's why I'm always on the limiter. Wow, 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 just because it sounds so good that I don't want to lift.
Right.
So I thought about it. Definitely. The BA swap, I want to say, is the best cost-effective swap you can do. Parts are everywhere. You can buy an LS on any junkyard, even if it's a 4853 Cito. Parts are there. You can buy anything you need at the Advanced O'Reilly's, whatever parts store. You can find anything for an LS. Absolutely anything. JC, 2JC, you can find some stuff. 1JC, you're finding nothing. It's because the 1JC never made it to America. It's a bit more rare, so you ain't finding nothing.
Yeah.
But the sound sold me. I had the budget of both of them. I was like, okay, if I do a LS, I'll be maybe $6,000 to $8,000 into a swap. If I do a JC, I'll be like 10 to 12. By the way, those numbers were a lie. Those numbers were a big lie. But definitely do the LS. It's a lot cheaper than doing JC.
But if you want that turbo sound.
Oh, yeah. If you want that best sounding
and even
engine.
the spool, too. Like, the feeling of a turbo is different than the feeling.
I love clutch kicking, so I love the turbo lag and all that stuff, which I don't have much turbo lag, but I still clutch kick,
Yeah. Dang. Was there much trouble? Since I don't see very many 1 or 2Js in 350Zs.
Yeah.
I would feel like maybe a lot of custom work you had to do, or
not really.
No.
The engine fits better than the BQ.
Yeah.
I can tell you, there's a lot more space to work on the JC than to work on a BQ. I can change anything without having to remove the engine.
And the same stock transmission.
Yeah, so I got the CD09 with the PMC adapter I got from DriftHQ. So stock trans, I wanted to leave the car kind of like reuse all the stock stuff I could. So I got the PMC adapter, stock CD, don't have to cut the transmission, don't have to do none of that. Literally bolts on. Put on the JC, put the transmission back on, and it works. And motor mounts, they're already made. You use the stock 350C motor mounts and a plate that goes to the JC to fit on the 350C. You do that, they're free engineer engine mounts. I'm using a Supra radiator, MK4 Supra, MK4 radiator hose, MK4 fan. And we did our custom front end. We did radiator brackets to hold the radiator, and we did intercooler brackets to hold the intercooler. And it all went like fits.
Wow.
It's not that much work.
Cool. It's good to know, because I don't see very many at all.
If you have the budget to do it, that's why it took me longer. I did, I was working 9 to 5, hustling, doing things. I always like to make money, so sometimes I put like the business in front of the car. That's why I put the car, in the back and work whenever I get a chance. But if you have everything, you can definitely do the same swap I have in 3 weeks.
Wow.
If you got the money to do everything and order everything right at once, like if you call me, because I do sales at DriftHQ, we didn't mention that. So I work for DriftHQ, I do sales. If you call me, you're like, hey, I want to duplicate your swap on my 350Z. I'll send you everything. If you get everything, 2 to 3 weeks, you can get that swap done.
Wow.
Easy, easy. Like pretty much not too much fabrication
Yeah.
other than the inner cooler and the radiator mount.
Yeah. So mainly the biggest hurdle is the money, which with
Biggest hurdle was the money, yeah.
every swap, that's a big hurdle. So
Yeah.
I mean, that's really cool to know that it is a very simple and easy
And fits so
easier
good.
swap to do.
Fits
Yeah.
so easy.
Well, yeah, it's inline. It's not.
It's inline,
V,
yeah. It
so-
fits. You have so much space.
Yeah.
And you know, I thought because of the weight and the engine being inline, it was gonna drive different. It drives so good.
Yeah.
My car drives so good. I don't even feel. People were telling me like, "Oh, you're gonna have to go higher spring rate, blah blah blah. It's gonna drive weird." I feel nothing. My car drives beautiful.
Yeah.
It's the best it ever driven. Of course, I switch angle kits. I went to FDF,
Yeah.
the Mantis kit that reused the stock knuckle, because I wanted to keep the stock knuckle because I might crash. You know, who knows?
Mm-hmm.
I drive a little bit reckless. I have hundreds of those knuckles, so that's why I wanted that kit, so I can keep it in case I break something, crash too hard. I can, maybe make it work.
Yeah. Dang. That's awesome, man. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing it out more at some events and stuff. You plan on doing comps, or you like staying more grassroots fun events?
As of right now, I'm staying grassroots,
Yeah.
but I love comps.
Yeah.
Comps give me like I don't know. Once I'm in a comp, it's different. Like the adrenaline you get just from being on the line, knowing that you have to battle someone to actually move on. I love that adrenaline.
Yeah.
So eventually I will do comp. Right now I'm just getting used to the car, get the feel of it, find every little issue you have, make a grip, because for a comp you need to have a little bit of a grip car. Right now I'm on the loose setup, just enjoying my car, learning how the car drives, what I like, what I don't like, what I can improve, what I can improve. So maybe next year, maybe 2 years, I'll be on a comp. Definitely not this year.
Yeah.
This year, I just want to do fun events, drive with the boys,
I feel that.
tandem, do big tracks, you know. Next event I'm doing is going to be 4th of July, DriftHQ, Atlanta Motorsport Park.
Yeah.
You know, you're doing 100 miles per hour there. That's what I'm in, you
It's
know.
like third, fourth gear.
Third, fourth gear, yeah.
Wow.
Letting it eat down the hill, you know.
That's gnarly. Yeah.
So this year I want to focus on that, just fun stuff.
Cool. Yeah, man. Well, speaking of fun events and comps and things, across the world now, I've seen drifting
Yeah.
exploding, especially in Latin America.
Yeah.
When you were in the DR, was it the CD
Yeah.
track that you were talking about that you went to?
Yeah, so they have the Autódromo there, which is like big professional track, fast track. You know, you're entering on third gear on the first corner, even fourth if you have enough power.
Yeah.
So it was CD from that time. They still running until today. But now you got like different groups of drifting out there, but they all use the same track, same resources, and I mean it's a good championship.
Yeah.
You know, you got many good people that come out from there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Jonathan Castro, didn't he?
Jonathan Castro came out from there. You got Victor Madera, great driver, great guy. He's one of our customers. You got Rafael Adames. I'm sure you see him on Clutch Kickers and Pro-Am. He had the BMW with the Falcon livery and the Dominican flag flying behind him. Great guy, great fabricator. You got Luis Lizardi. You know Lizardi?
Yeah.
Our local guy, rips on comp. He drove FD Pro 2, it was called before, which now is Prospect.
Yeah.
He drove FD on his BMW. He came out from there because he was drifting in Puerto Rico. But we were a bit, I want to say, more far on the comp, and we had a bigger track. So he shipped his car from Puerto Rico to DR every round, and he was out there crushing the guys. He definitely changed drifting out there.
Wow.
He was throwing because he was the first, I want to say, with a I think he had Wise Fab or SLR. I don't remember what angle kit he had, but he was doing backies when nobody knew what a backy was out there. So he definitely
He
changed
was
the
showing
sport.
that crazy angle.
He
that
was
no one
showing
had
the
seen.
crazy, and people, it was just, okay, we need to step it up,
Yeah.
you know?
Have you been to any other countries? I know Costa Rica, Brazil has events.
So I have a good friend from Costa Rica. He does drifting. I've been there. I haven't been to an event yet, but we're working so I can go this year to a drift event in Costa Rica. But I have a great friend that he went to the yard to like learn how to set up drift cars, what to do with drift cars. He spent like a month or two there with Victor, and then he's now like the guy on Costa Rica to set drift cars.
That's awesome.
Some of the Costa Rican drivers actually, like the champ of this year, he was in DR many years ago drifting in DR because, you know, we were like kind of ahead on drifting. And then now he went back and that's it, he's the champ. He's beating everybody out there, you know.
That's awesome. It's like when people here go to Japan and
Exactly.
like, go to Matsuri, drift for 2 weeks straight, and then come back with all
and
that
come
skill.
like reckless, you know,
That's
running
pretty cool.
people's door.
It's pretty cool. The DR is kind of that right now for Central America.
Right now, I want to say it's around that area. Like we have many good drivers.
And Brazil as well.
Brazil. I haven't had the chance to go yet. I definitely want to. But from what the boys have told me and like what they post on the videos, like, you know, Duarte, Savio, they are Brazilian, so they go there and have a good time. They drift. There's some cars with quick chains, dog butt, sequentials. Like for Latin America to see that, you wouldn't think, but there's big power cars, like, gripped up and all.
Sick. Wow.
I went to Mexico last year. Was it last year or this year? Last year, I went to Mexico. It was really good. Drifting there is like growing very fast. Good amount of cars. It's crazy. You got some good talented drivers. And the good thing about Mexico, you get some drivers from Cali that drive their car and trailers down and they drift and then they just go right back up, you know, and it was pretty good. The drifting for sure is growing all over Latin America. I heard Panama got some good drifting, which eventually I want to go see. Wherever there's drifting, I want to go, you know?
Yeah, I feel that, man. Wherever there's
drifting, I'm in.
Whatever little crummy track there is around the world, I want to see it.
Exactly.
Man. That's awesome, dude. Well, man, do you have any final thoughts, any shout outs, anything you want to say?
Final thoughts. Well, I can tell you, don't do the same mistakes I do, or I did. Seat time is king. Get all the seat time. Don't do engine swaps because they sound cool. I mean, they do sound cool, but you definitely want to get seat time better.
Yeah.
And if you're going to do an engine swap, like me, and spend 3 years or 2 years doing an engine swap, get a seat time car in the meantime. So, you know, you get the age out. And cheap car, like any G35 4-door, put a manual transmission, and you have a car that you'll go through a weekend with $500, just gas and 4 set of tires, you know.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I really appreciate you coming out, talking with us, man. Crazy story, man. But yeah, dude, thanks for joining us. Thanks for being here. And give a thumbs up, hit that subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll catch you next time, fam.
Thanks for the invite.
Peace. Thanks.